CataractCoach.com, podcast series, episode number 129 with Dr. Ben LaHood, teaching ophthalmic surgery with passion and humor. This is the funniest ophthalmologist you're going to find. Welcome back to our Cataract Coach podcast. Today, I've got a very special guest, the funniest ophthalmologist I've ever met in my entire life. That is Dr. Ben LaHood, originally from New Zealand, but now in Adelaide, Australia. Welcome, Ben.
Uday. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me. That's a big compliment coming from you, so thank you very much.
Well, when I look at your Instagram, and you have an amazing Instagram, we'll put a link down below. People should definitely follow it. It is funny. You have you do skits. I wish I had that level of talent, to be honest.
I don't know if it's talent. I think it's just, it started off that I actually got made redundant when I was in New Zealand. I lost my job. And somebody said to me, you know what, you should do social media. You need to be out there or else people will think you're dead. And I thought, okay, I'll get out there. But then you start posting, you start putting some stuff up and your friends think, you're a bit cheesy, I don't know. And then you get over it and you just start doing what you enjoy and it's fun.
It is. It's funny. Like today, it's your video on the Instagram was pages in the slit lamp and then boom, they push away from the everyone's had that.
Yeah, it's just relatable stuff. I think the funniest thing is the stuff that works, that gets a lot of views, a lot of shares, is usually incredibly relatable across all medical specialties. Or probably the most popular stuff, and I don't know if you find this on your podcast, is when you talk about complications or things that have gone wrong. People love that stuff. It's like a car crash.
Yeah, in fact, if I look at the analysis of CataractCoach videos, and I'm almost at 2,700 videos.
Yeah.
Generally the most popular videos are complications.
Yeah. There was a time when I was lasering a floater. I used to do floaterectomy. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, laser floatolysis. And I accidentally lasered the retina. And, blood's coming towards you. It looks horrendous because it's all, under the microscope. I talked about that on a podcast. I've never had so much feedback of people saying, look, I'm so glad you said something. I've done some terrible things in my life too. And it was just nice to hear someone honestly say that they messed up.
Well, the funny part is, our patients are expecting 100%. That's humanly possible. If you look at any other sport, you look at basketball, if someone shoots 90% from the free throw line, you're like, wow, they're so good. No. Your patients don't want 99%. They're demanding 100.
Oh, totally. It's like when you tell someone there's a complication risk, 1 in 1,000, that, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if I should go ahead with it. And you think, wow, that's pretty slim odds, So yeah, we're used to working in 100% or zeros.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I mean, sometimes patients are worried about those ultra rare things like the endophthalmitis risk. Or I said, you know what? I'm in Los Angeles, so I could say, we also could have the big earthquake and the building could crush all of us to death.
Just to reassure you. Yeah.
I mean, you just never know. Or, honestly, you have a higher chance of dying in a car accident on the way to the surgery center than you do dying during surgery.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, my biggest risk actually is patients looking at my social media and telling me, I don't want you doing my surgery. You're too stupid. But I think that one of the funny things is I've got a lot of patients that follow me on social media. I'll put up a meme, something I think's funny about, say, dry eyes. I'll get a million messages from patients saying, that was me, wasn't it? That was me. And I'll be like, yeah, it was. To be honest, it was you.
Oh, that's too funny. But no, your social media, you're actually very talented. Comedians are some of the smartest people. So to have that really sharp wit is a rare thing, something I always wished I had. But boy, you have it. And I'm going to tell you, in person, you're the same. That's the amazing part.
Well, I think that's the key to life today is, I've got a lot of colleagues who they've got work mode and they've got away from work mode. I feel like I'm the same person. So I think it's quite nice because when people turn up, they get exactly the same person they've seen on their little screen or whatever. I had someone today turned up to their clinic and he said, you actually look like your picture. And I thought, that's actually really nice to hear because I'm sure you've had this where you're standing on a podium somewhere, you look up behind you, there's a giant photoshopped picture of you looking 20 years younger and looking all photoshopped and beautiful. And you think, they can actually see the comparison. I hate this. I hate when there's a Photoshop picture of me. So that was nice.
No, for sure. Yeah, sometimes my headshot that I give out is my one from high school, so I look really good.
Hey, you still look the same. I know.
Now, interestingly, I realized when I met you in person, we gave lectures together recently in the Philippines,
Yeah,
that you actually are not an Australian. You're a Kiwi. You're from New Zealand.
I'm a Kiwi. I am. So I feel like the relationship between Kiwis and Aussies is maybe similar to Canadians and Americans, where
Okay.
it's kind of like a bit of banter, kind of like your little brother. You
Right.
love them, but you give them a hard time. So I think, when I first got here, I would have whole clinics where I would have patients say to me, I've got to be honest, I can't understand what you're saying. Like, I actually can't understand your accent. And I thought, we're not that different, but we do have a few words, there's a few terms with like fish and chips, or, there's certain words where an Australian will automatically recognize you. So I find it funny. Sometimes I'll say to a patient, look to your right, and they understand me. And then I'll say, look to your left. Like, what else can I possibly be saying? But they're like, oh, what do you mean? Sorry, your vowels, they don't make sense. Look, lift? I don't know what that is. I'm like, I hate it. I hate it. It kills me. But I'm getting more used to it. I'm turning more and more into an Aussie.
So I actually had a fun time in New Zealand. Last year, I spoke at the
You're
Charles McGee's
invited.
meeting, and
Yeah.
I spent almost a month in New Zealand, just enjoying with my son.
You had
And
a
I
good
moved
time?
to your hometown of Otago,
Excellent.
which
Proud
is
Otago boy. Good.
Dunedin.
Yeah, that's it. It's the
And-
greatest city in the world. I mean, apart from the fact that I grew up not realizing you could be warm, I just thought that cold is life. I thought that you just go home and you stand in the middle of your house because you're too cold to sit down. But that was Dunedin. It's a freezing place. Did you go up the steepest street in the world?
I did. I even went to Larnock Castle.
Oh, good knowledge.
I don't know all the touristy spots. Now, you know what? The only thing I could not figure out in New Zealand was I couldn't figure out how to drive on the wrong side of the street.
Yeah,
So-
it is strange. Yeah.
So I had my son do all the driving, which was like such a pleasure.
I mean, you're such a tech guy. I imagine you'll have like a self-driving car, or
I don't know, whatever we rented something there, who knows what, but some random SUV. And it was absolutely a beautiful country. I mean, the beauty
It
is
is
unbelievable.
spectacular. It really is. I think people think Lord of the Rings, it won't be as beautiful as that, but it truly is like out of a movie. Everywhere you look is beautiful. There's hardly any people anywhere. There are more sheep than people. We get that joke a lot, but it's true.
But it's actually true.
It's actually true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but what a beautiful time we had there. So,
Well,
and
I'm so glad.
we were actually there in the kind of winter, so it was absolutely freezing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I go back there once a year to do some teaching, and part of me is like, oh, it's nice to be home. But another part of me is like, thank you. I made it out of the struggle. I'm so happy.
It's actually a very storied university because in ophthalmology, because of Professor Maltino of the Maltino valve. Tell us, did you have any?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was my prof. So,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was genuinely crazy. I think all of us that have been through Otago Medical School, trained at Dunedin Hospital, Prof was our father. And, we all grew up doing crazy operations because he was just so into teaching. Like, in the back room of the department, we'd be doing soft palate reconstructions of, eyelid cancers. And we would be, just doing Maltino drains left, right, and center. So I remember my first day of fellowship in refractive surgery, and there was a trabeculectomy needed doing, and there's all this fussing around, like, oh, what are we going to do? I'm like, Maltino is just like, just do it. It's so simple. You make a hole in the eye, make it a bit leaky. What could go wrong? But he was a legend, and I mean, he was quirky, and there were definitely some oddities about him, but he was a genuine, in 100 years' time, when you think of ophthalmology in New Zealand, he's the person you'll remember.
Right. Yeah, larger than life.
Much, much larger than life, yeah.
What's amazing? So tell us your path. So you went to medical school there in Otago, but how did you choose ophthalmology? And then how did you end up doing your fellowship in Australia?
Yeah, so I finished med school, and I don't know what it was like for you, Uday, but I was really disillusioned. I was like, this is not at all like Grey's Anatomy. I'm just signing bits of paper. I haven't done a single heart transplant in the lift. this is disgraceful. This is not what I signed up for. So after my first year as a junior doctor to be registered, I quit. I was like, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I think I want to do finance, or I want to do something different, because this is not what it's cracked up to be. And I remember I went and sat on a beach in Australia, and someone from Maltino's department, Gordon Sanderson, he phoned me and he said, hey, I heard that you quit medicine. You're a complete idiot. What are you doing? Like, what the heck are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that I don't want to do that. And he said, well, how about if I find you a job in ophthalmology, and you don't have to do anything. You can just hang out in the department. We'll pay you a living wage so you can pay your rent, and just see if you like it.
Okay.
And I was like, all right. I mean, it sounds pretty rough. I'll give it a go. And went to a small town in New Zealand, Nelson, and they took me under their wing, and I liked it. Spent a year there, really enjoyed it, and then applied to go to Auckland. Charles McGee, who your friend and colleague, and went to Auckland and enjoyed it, and then sort of carried on with ophthalmology from there. Went back to my hometown, Dunedin, and did Maltino's department and did my training. And then it's funny because around that stage, I was thinking I'd like to be a refractive surgeon. And at the time, it was very frowned upon to say you want to be either a high volume cataract or a laser surgeon. I'm sure you know this, right? You're allowed to say, I'd like to be a corneal surgeon and maybe do a little bit of laser. But I feel like maybe I was one of the first people in the region to just be like, I want to be a laser surgeon. I always want to do laser. And you know what? I love doing cataracts. I want to be a high volume cataract surgeon. And that is so, you don't say that. You do not say that, And so that was quite frowned upon at the time. And there weren't many places that would teach you to do laser. The two places really were Toronto, that had a cornea and laser program, but you'd have to spend 2 years there. So I went over there, met everyone. They're lovely. There's Professor Rootman, like lovely people. And then there was another fellowship back, closer to home in Adelaide with Michael Goggin, that he taught people purely laser and premium lens cataract surgery. And so I decided to do that, and did the fellowship, really enjoyed it, had a great time, realized that it was my passion. I enjoyed it, and then went back to New Zealand, joined a big corporate group to be sort of a cataract jockey. They decided during COVID that maybe I wasn't the right fit for them, and that was fine. We parted ways, and I decided, well, you know what? I really liked Adelaide. I'll head back there. So here I am, and it's good. It's Adelaide's a lovely place for anyone that hasn't visited. We've got a lot of vineyards. It's beautiful place to visit. Come visit me. Come say hi. But it's a nice life, and so eventually, I did become a cataract and a laser surgeon from quitting med school, really.
Well, what's so interesting in your story, your path, is that you have to learn to change gears a little bit, and life is kind of unpredictable.
Very, absolutely. I mean, when I quit in my first year as a doctor, I was really thinking, I'd like to be a plastic surgeon, I think. I like the idea of doing nose jobs, all that sort of stuff. And then I realized you have to look after burn patients, right. And so I guess at that point I realized, maybe my destiny is doing something aesthetic like laser surgery. So, you do have to sort of change paths and think about what you might want to do. And, I think med school is really all about ruling things out more than deciding what you know or what you like. And I guess I just got lucky falling into ophthalmology.
Yeah, sometimes you do fall into it. I mean, I started med school thinking I'd do either neurosurgery or ENT. Ended up in ophthalmology. I started residency thinking I'm doing retina for sure. And okay, that didn't pan out. So you just gotta find your happiness. And I'm usually pretty bad at guessing what I want.
Really?
I gotta change gears. Like, okay, it's not what I want.
Yeah. And I think, serendipity, I'm a big believer in, manifesting, putting things out to the universe, the right things will fall into place. So it's worked out well for me. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the older I get, the more I realize, like, sometimes you just got to roll with it. And don't worry, if it's not working out, it'll work out in the end, and just give it time.
Yeah, there's that saying, it'll work out in the end. If it hasn't worked out, it's not the end.
Exactly, exactly. But I love how you just changed gears then, and then it is what it is.
Yeah,
So
very much. And I suppose, living somewhere like Adelaide where it is a bit slower, it's not LA, it's not Sydney, it's not New York. It does give you time and space to pursue other things. So, social media has been a lot of fun. Travel a lot like you. We're always meeting all around the world. Me and you, we're somewhere talking to someone. So, you can make your own fun.
no, for sure. You have a lot of fun projects too. I know I'm a fan of your Against the Rule podcast with Nick Andrew.
Yes, yeah, that
And in
was
fact,
great.
yeah, my CataractCoach video of the day for tomorrow is actually a Nick Andrews video about how he does the hydras.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, Nick Andrew has been an amazing colleague and friend. And, we started that podcast when we were basically, I think we were both doing fellowships. And we just really felt like there wasn't something out there that was kind of raw, a little bit unfiltered, a little bit of banter, and just actually like honest chat. And where we could really hone down on a topic and nitpick it, but at the same time, just be two guys chatting. And it really kind of took off. Like a lot of people, I think, related to it because we talked about a lot of things that just you'd see, you'd do, but no one would really discuss. And I think that really hit home with a lot of people. And he's done really well. He's on the Gold Coast in Australia. He's got a young family and a busy practice now. And I think that's taken a lot of his time. So our episodes have become further and further apart. I do not know in any way how you put out a video every day, Uday.
You know what? There's a fine line between passion and crazy. And I'm somewhere in the middle. But yeah, that's another thing people don't realize. So even to this, it's 10:30 at night for you. It's 6 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
We've got to just schedule the time. It is not easy to do this.
It's
And
not.
for me, a video every day is so much work.
It's so much work. And I'm sure you get asked the same question as well about work-life balance, right? And I feel like I'm a broken record, but I'm forever saying, if you want to achieve great things, they take great sacrifices. And, it's not so much about a balance, but it's where do you want to put your energy? So, for me, I enjoy making some skits. I enjoy making a surgical video and editing and doing all that stuff. Maybe I don't put as much effort into other things in life. And so I think it's not so much a balance. You don't have to have a perfectly balanced life. Like I'd say work and the sort of branches off from work, like the videos, the talking, the travel, it takes up a lot of my life, but I'm quite happy with that. So I don't think you have to have a perfectly balanced life, personally.
Right. I think you're correct. I think you got to figure out what's best for you, what works for you. And it's okay then to change gears and switch that up every so often, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, for me, the same way. It takes a huge sacrifice. I mean, when I look back, like last year, I lectured in 21 countries. Oh my gosh, that's like the amount of time I spent on an airplane is unbelievable.
I mean, with your putting up a video every day, are you ever scared with all the travel and things that you'll miss a day?
There's a lot of pressure. So I normally run about a month ahead. So a month of videos in the queue. Although because I traveled so much in July, I took all of July off. I traveled for 5 weeks in Asia in July.
That's so good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was living my best life for sure. But I just kind of fell behind a little bit on the videos. So like as we're talking now, it's a Friday. I don't have Monday's video ready yet.
I like it. I work best under pressure. I mean, my two gears are either extreme procrastination when I've got no pressure on, or extreme work when the pressure's on. And they're only my two only modes. And I think all of us, or most of us, work best under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I am happier though when I have like a buffer of a few weeks of videos. Like,
yeah.
But I gotta, for sure, I gotta crank out some videos today. It's Friday. I'm gonna be working on my laptop the entire day.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, I like the idea of having things queued up. I don't know if you remember a guy on YouTube that went viral. He was talking about the double rainbow. He's like, double rainbow, I'm so happy. This just amazing guy. He'd passed away, and they realized that he had about 4 years worth of videos lined up because he knew his health wasn't so good. So he's kept posting posthumously. I didn't realize how long ahead you can queue up videos. It's kind of crazy.
Wow, I didn't know you could do years ahead. Wow, that's
So
amazing.
maybe that's your new goal, Uday. Just like get a year ahead and take a year off.
Well, I don't want to be, I don't want to be too far ahead because I want to be able to someone sends me a video. I get 50 to 60 videos sent to me a week.
That's a lot. That's a
And
lot.
I go through all of them, by the way, every single one.
Do you go through and look for the best complication, like the gnarliest, crazy thing?
Right, for sure. Well, I can immediately delete half the videos because half the videos that are sent in are low definition, out of focus. It's like, okay, I can't use this.
Yeah.
But then of the remaining ones, I don't want a video for you sending me a video saying, look, I can do a cataract in 3 minutes. Okay, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To be honest, yes, it was very fast. No, it was not very good. Don't ever.
Yeah, I'm personally, I'm quite a slow surgeon. There are surgeons in my facility that are much faster surgeons than me, but there's a certain point where it's a bit of a measuring contest, and there's a certain point where you just don't need to go any faster.
Well, if it's my eye being operated on, please take an extra 2 minutes and make it beautiful.
100%. Honestly, I have said with my friends, when it comes time for my cataract surgery, I'm going to ask you, I'll come to you, Uday, and I'll say, look, I want to buy the slot before me, the slot after me. You just take your time, do your routine. No worries. I'll pay all 3 slots, but you just take your time.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. So yeah, but you're right. Complication videos are certainly the absolutely most popular, and the ones I like the most too. Or show me a new technique. Well, I've never even thought of that. Something interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I really loved your presentation in Manila, where you were going through some interesting cataract complications, and then you were asking, what would you do at this step? What would you do here? And you put together as a video. I mean, that stuff takes hours. One thing that always bugs me a little bit is we get asked to do these talks by drug companies, which is great. I'm all for it. But they don't appreciate how much that you might get paid. Say you're doing an hour's talk. They might say, we'll give you 3 hours of preparation time. It probably takes me 30 hours to prepare, and I'm not exaggerating. There's so much work that goes into these things.
Well, as I've gotten older now, in my 30s, I did a lot of talks for the companies, various ophthalmic companies, whether on the pharma side or the device side or whatever platform side. I don't do that anymore.
No.
I just don't.
You're your own brand now. You are a brand.
Well, it's just not worth the time. As you were saying, it's a huge time commitment. And let me just do things my way. I want to do what I want. I don't have any disclosures about that stuff. And then I don't want to have any restrictions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is funny because I do a bit of stuff for different drug companies. I always think when I'm about to talk, they must be like, oh, I don't know what he's going to say, because I think part of my, I guess, without sounding cocky, I think part of my appeal has always been I'm quite honest. I'll give an honest opinion about something. Yeah, and I always worry that they're going to be like, oh God, what's he going to say? We should never have asked him to talk about this. But I think it just comes across so much better if you can talk about the positives and the negatives. I think the days of saying, I work for Alcon products are the best, I don't use any other products, I think those days are dead.
For 100%. For sure. But you know what? That's one of the things, to your credit. You have great credibility. And if you're a young ophthalmologist who's listening and you want to be on the podium too, please, we encourage you.
Yeah, totally.
Keep in mind, it will take you 10 years to build credibility, but 10 minutes to lose it.
It's so true. It's so true. I do a lot of work with Rainer, as you know, and I got in trouble with them not that long ago when on a podcast I was saying, say hypothetically, I was having a wedding and it was an industry sponsored wedding. I said, I would probably ask Alcon to do the invitations because they're very good at marketing. And I would probably ask Zeiss to make the rings because they're very good at manufacturing. Okay. And I would ask Rainer to host the bachelor party because they're very fun. And in Australia, that would be seen as the greatest compliment you could possibly pay to someone. Right. That didn't go down so well with the company. So, I do also realize that as you get a growing audience, and I'm sure you have this too, you probably think a little bit more about what you say and the repercussions of it. And so I guess I'm still learning that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a delicate balance, but the reason why I think I enjoy hearing you speak so much is, number one, it's going to be something good. You're going to have some very good educational points. It's not going to be a commercial.
Yeah.
You're always good about teaching something good, important. Second, you're going to be funny. I'm going to be entertained. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be an enjoyable process. And then third is you have super high credibility. Because I don't quite know what you're going to say, It's why I like you. If I know
Good.
your message already, I don't even want to listen.
Oh, I love that. That's really important to me. I think that would be my advice to anyone that is wanting to get up there on stage and do these things is, I mean, I think you have the same ethos where it is entertainment. You know, it is still, you are still a gladiator in the ring. You do have to entertain. Otherwise, why are you up on stage? You know, you could read it in a journal, read it in a book. You are on stage to entertain to a degree. And I think if people do leave happy, had an enjoyable experience and learned something, that's the magic. That's the absolute magic where it'll stay in their mind because they've actually had an emotional response to it. So I think it's, you know, part of it is that a little bit of humor, a little bit of entertainment does help to, I don't know, like it relaxes me if I'm talking. If you get a laugh from the audience, you're like, all right, everything's going all right. We're going to be fine here. But I think the other side of it is we do, as humans, remember things, retain things with any kind of emotional response, whether it's anger, hopefully humor, hopefully not too much sadness. But, you know, I do think it makes a big difference if you're teaching, if you can get people in a certain mood.
Oh, I think you're for sure. But you're right. If you want to be fantastic on the podium, which is certainly my goal, it's a learned skill. It's a learned skill. But I also have a cheat code that almost no one else has. My cheat code is, I'll tell you the secret.
All right, I'll listen in.
So when I put up interesting, like I do, at first everything is one video. So if I show you 12 interesting cases, there's no PowerPoint. I'm not clicking anything.
Yeah, I love that.
If you give me 1 hour, I'll make a video that's 59 minutes long. You just hit play. I don't touch anything. So I'll never go second over. But what I do is, for those 12 interesting cases, well, I'll go to CataractCoach and I'll see which video views, the most comments, the most controversies, the most likes. I'll choose those ones.
Yeah.
So I already know which ones you love because you've already watched them the most and made the most comments. And
it makes so much sense. It's perfect. It's kind of like, you know, Lego. They have different sets where you build different things. They have a website online where you can submit a design. And it's brilliant. It's win-win for Lego because the most popular one they will create, they already know there's a market for it.
Right.
It's exactly like you in your videos. You already know there's millions of hits on this video. The crowd's going to go crazy. It's perfect. I love it. And your talks are extremely entertaining and educational. So I experienced it for the first time in Manila. The crowd go crazy. They love it. I mean, interactivity is key. It's magic.
Well, I also do. I'm a bit of a geek. So every time I give a lecture, I like kind of, I remember the parts of the audience laughed and what jokes hit, which did not.
Yeah.
And so I make kind of notes of that. So I'm always trying to repeat it. Like I always know when I show a video of a capsule breaking, my funny joke is, capsulotomy in the future. That always gets a few laughs.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I'm not as naturally funny as you, so I have to kind of like fake it a little bit by memorizing the points, the jokes.
No, it's good though. I find it funny though because humor over this side of the world is very self-deprecating. Like that's just part of growing up over here. Is you talk yourself down, and it does bring sometimes trouble when you're talking to a different audience because often in Europe it just doesn't land. They just don't kind of get it. I remember giving some talks for a company in the US, in North America, and they were very much like, can you please just not take your self-deprecating pills today because that doesn't fly in America. Like, I think I was saying something about using the injector and being like, look, you know, I got quite small hands. I can handle it. It's fine. And they were like, no. In America, you've got giant hands. You've got the biggest hands in the world, you know. Don't say that, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but there certainly are cultural differences, which is something you got to take into account for sure.
Yeah, totally.
For sure. But no, it's a fantastic time. The other thing I also realized, I've said this before on our podcast here, is that if you want to be a key opinion leader, we all who do this welcome you. We love more people who are doing what we're doing. We'll love you to join us. But you can actually just be yourself. You don't have to copy anyone. That's the coolest part.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Like, I think just be yourself though, you know, I think if you're genuine, like a lot of people always ask me advice about social media, you know, like, what should I do? What should I put out there? How did you come up with this idea? And I'm like, you got to be genuine because the worst thing in the world, I think, would be like, I'm sure that when people come and see you in clinic, they see you, like it's you, you know, they see a cataract coach. If they come and see me, I'll probably have a joke with them in the clinic. You know, we'll make it lighthearted. The surgery is serious, but it doesn't mean you can't have a laugh. But I would hate to see someone put up, trying to be humorous on their social media, and then you come and see them in clinic and they're like, "Good day, sir. It's good to meet you. Thank you very much."
Yeah.
You don't want that emotional whiplash. You want to be the same person. So I think my advice would just be, don't try and copy anyone. Just be yourself. And everything's got its purpose. If you're not particularly funny, make it educational. Do what you do best.
Now, your Instagram videos, which I'm a huge fan of, and again, we'll have the link down below. Certainly recommend you check it out and follow him.
You.
It takes a lot of effort. So I look at your 10 or 20 or 30-second video, but to edit it, because you will play all characters in your videos. You'll play the patient and the doctor. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of time. And, I always worry that I'm going to be halfway through a video. I'm dressed as a woman in the clinic and someone's going to walk in and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" But, I think that's part of the fun is, getting the costumes and think we're acting it out. I always try not to make it in any way sort of offensive to anyone. I think they're usually real stereotypes, the old patient that wants to show you all their glasses, or that sort of thing where it's like everyone relates, everyone knows that patient, and it's not someone too specific. I'm always a little bit wary of making it too oddly specific so that person knows that it's not them.
Right. What I love too is, "Oh my gosh, you're the best surgeon. I love my vision. I'm so happy. Here's a 4-star review for you." And you're like, the hell?
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of there's a famous Google review online that I've seen where there's a doctor and his review was from a patient. Dr. Devgan was great. He saved my life. Whatever it was, some kind of medical emergency, saved my life. 4 stars. And and the surgeon replied like, what did I have to do for 5 stars? I don't get it, So I don't know, our patients are funny. Like, I think one of my most popular posts has been writing fake Google reviews for patients, pretending that I'm allowed. Yeah, that went nuts, because I think every single doctor, not even doctor, anyone that runs a business was like, "Oh man, if I could write reviews for my customers, I would slate them. Like, I would absolutely punish them." But I mean, the truth is, we'd all love to write the truth about our patients and do all these things, but our hands are tied, and probably for a good reason.
Right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you also have other projects in the. What about your other projects?
Yeah, so I'm excited about this. I've started a line of cosmetics, and they're going to be released this coming month. So it'll be basically the start of spring over here in Australia. And the idea was that I really wanted to, embarrassingly, this took over 8 years to create. So it's been a long time coming. It's been a sort of a dream of mine, a bit of a passion project. And I was seeing a lot of people that would have skin cancers around their eyelids, and we'd be cutting them out. Even back when I worked with Maltino, we'd be cutting out skin cancers, reconstructing lids. And when I talk to people, they'd say, "Look, I don't put any kind of SPF protection right near my eyelids because it stings, makes them water. I don't like it." And so I thought, well, can I make an eyelid product that wouldn't sting, wouldn't burn, wouldn't make your eyes water, but would offer some protection from the elements? And then I added some anti-aging properties, so anti-puffiness, fine lines, that sort of thing. So that's been my first product, is called Eyelid Defense. I've got some here. If I give it a plug.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's going to be available online, drbenlahood.com, and it's probably going to be available, in September. So it's exciting times. I've got a couple of other products coming. There's a night repair cream and an eyelash boosting serum. So really excited, because it's taken so long to actually go from concept to reality. I went through the stages of trying to make things, all natural and all of these different concepts, trying different products, iterations, formulations. And it just took a very long time to get something that was enjoyable, was sort of a bit of a primer finish, could be worn under makeup, but also was functional. So I'm excited, really excited.
That's really neat. Wow, 8 years in the making. It takes a long time sometimes.
Well, I think sometimes when you're doing something in your spare time, it's a long time before your side gig can become your main gig. And I think I'm still a long way from that ever being the case, but it's something I was passionate about. And I think there's that idea that, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So it hasn't really felt like work. It's been an enjoyable process, but it'll be really exciting to see it available, and even just holding it and seeing something that you've thought about coming a reality it's a big deal.
Well, I think it fills an important part of the market because first people may not realize, like in Australia where you are, that's like among the world's highest skin cancer rates.
Oh, it is. It's crazy over here. I mean, everything tries to kill you here, even the sun. But like, I mean, I was in hospital last year with a spider bite. Like it truly is. Everything over here is trying to kill you. But the sun in particular is brutal. And I think, when you go over to Europe and you're out in the sun all day, it's beautiful and lovely.
Mm-hmm.
You're out in the sun here for 2 minutes and you're pink. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's super strong, yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know what LA is like. Do you get burnt over there?
Well, I'm lucky. I'm naturally brown, so I just get a little more tan. I very, very rarely get sunburned. But yeah, so when I go out, I do put sunscreen, like if I'm riding my bike.
Good.
But you're right. I mean, one of the big issues is like sunscreen just burns your eyes, even if it's not even on your eyelid, even if it's around your face, you start to sweat. And then it's just like stinging, and I hate it.
It really is. And we had people, doing hot yoga, had people going to the beach for sort of focus groups to try it out, just to check that it doesn't actually leach into your eyes and cause stinging. It's mineral based, so it stays on your skin, doesn't leach in there, doesn't sting. So so far it seems really promising, and I think it becomes part of people's daily routine. I think people have got so much better at knowing they should protect themselves from the sun that a lot of people, as part of their daily routine, are just applying these products to their skin. So even though it's designed for your eyelids, if it's safe for your eyelids, you can put it anywhere.
No, that's true. Wow, that's a neat product. I'll look forward to checking that out.
Yeah, I'll send some over to you. But I mean,
we'll put a link down below.
I'd love to. I mean, unlike you, I've got Lebanese heritage. My dad's family's from Lebanon, and growing up, I was always I thought I had sort of like a nice sort of olivey skin. I feel like I remember there was a movie from Steve Martin, and he always imagined he was going to turn black one day. And I feel like that's me growing up. I was like, yeah, I'm sure I've inherited this olivey skin, but every time I go outside, I get pink, I peel, and then I go back white again. So I need to protect myself from the sun.
Yeah, the years will catch up to us otherwise. Wow.
Yeah.
That's for LA especially. I think people are very into the cosmetic part of medicine, and as a result, they definitely want to have the sunscreen. They definitely want to prevent that.
Yeah, I'll send some over to you, Uday. I don't know if you could live anywhere more cosmetic than LA. So if it works there, it'll work anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic idea. I'm glad you're doing that. I think all ophthalmologists should kind of have an entrepreneurial spirit. And we had a podcast even with Chris Tang, and he encouraged everyone to like do something entrepreneurial in ophthalmology or even outside of ophthalmology. He designed shopping bags.
Really?
And he has a side business. He's now chairman of the University of Massachusetts Ophthalmology, and he has a side business where he makes and sells shopping bags online.
I love it.
It's just amazing.
I mean, would you say that? I mean, what is your side gig, Uday? Because you've got a big practice. You've got probably the most famous online presence in ophthalmology. Do you have another side gig?
I do a lot of things. I mean,
I can't talk about them yet.
So I actually do side projects in ophthalmology. My projects are, one is we have a business to do. We have multiple patents in the AI space. So AI to do lens calculations, AI to do refractive stuff, and other projects in the loop. I'm also now working with Horizon Surgical, which is developing the first robot, so robotic cataract surgery.
That's so exciting. That's super exciting.
It's really it's bananas. I can't believe how amazing it is right now. So that's for sure coming.
Although, you should be careful though, Uday, because there'll be people like me that'll be sending you death threats because you're going to ruin my business,
No. It just makes you a better version of yourself.
Oh, it's not the robot doing the surgery?
Well, imagine this. Let's say you could still drive. You're driving the robot.
Yeah.
But you could program the robot and say, because the robot has not only the 4K camera that has OCT built in real time, fast. And it puts all the data together. You can tell the robot, as I'm operating, don't let me come within 50 microns of the capsule, and it will not.
That's so cool. I love that. I mean, because cataract surgery does really lend itself to robotics. I mean, you're working in a confined space. You're doing the same procedure basically multiple times. It's kind of perfect.
Right. It was, I think, look at it like chiropractic surgery. You don't want to go back to the days of radiokeratotomy.
No. I mean, when I trained, I started on a microkeratome. That thing used to scare the daylights out of me. Every time I put it on the eye, I swear the patient would be relaxed and I'd be like, I'd be like, oh, please let this work. I hope this works. Yeah.
Yeah, if people don't know, the microkeratome was to make the LASIK flap. It's basically an oscillating blade. It's a vibrating razor blade, if you will, that goes across the eye. You don't see the tissue as it passes, so it's completely blocked out of your vision.
It's terrifying.
And it is a suctioning that gets the eye pressure to like 80 or 90 millimeters of mercury. So the eye is really hard, so you can get this thin flap cut. And as the mercury goes across the eye and comes back, you're just like, I hope it's gonna be okay. Like literally 100% of the time.
Oh.
It was just,
and then afterwards, a couple of times I'd go to lift the LASIK flap. There's nothing there because the flap is inside the microkeratome. You cut the flap clean off, and you just, you have to remain calm. And you just, meanwhile your heart rate is going 300 beats per minute, and you're thinking, everything's fine, but in your mind you're like, everything is not fine. Everything is far from fine. So now when my LASIK patients will ask me, is there anything that could go catastrophically wrong? A full laser LASIK, I'll say no. To be honest, perhaps, if something bizarre happened postoperatively with an infection, something really strange, but routine surgery, no, there's not the same catastrophic risk that there used to be.
Yeah, it's totally new. So imagine this now. When you do LASIK, what did you do? What did the machine do? Right? You light it up. Okay, it cut the flap for you. Okay, you lifted a flap, but that's not that hard to do.
Don't let the people know. Don't let the people know how easy it is today.
Or even better, what about trans PRK? You literally step on a pedal.
Totally. No, but I totally agree. And so do you think that this is the way that cataract surgery will go? We're going robotic?
I think for sure, 100% robotic. And then whether it's automated, I think that's going to be in future iterations. But there's no reason why you can't automate many of the steps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, that's exciting times. And so I imagine that you're not allowed to say, but when will we see the first sort of commercial units out there?
Yeah, who knows? Impossible to predict, but it's the same way. Like, you fly on the plane, they have autopilot, but you still want the human pilot, but you definitely want the human pilot to also have the augmented controls of navigation and GPS and safety measures and double check. I want all that for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It's 100% true. I mean, you see the urological surgeons doing their prostate removal surgeries, the robots, doing the work. They're enjoying themselves, sitting, having a coffee. I mean, to be honest, that's how I want my surgeon to be. I want them relaxed and happy. I don't want them stressed out and hungry. So I'm happy with that. I think these days they put a medical student in the theater just in case things go wrong. But, the surgeons are sitting in a lounge somewhere having a good time.
Yeah, no, I think you still need surgery. You need that surgical judgment, which is really hard to teach a machine.
Yeah.
But I think, it's a new world. If you look at some of the AI stuff, wow, the AI stuff now, even just ChatGPT. Wow, oh my goodness, this is so good.
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, it's absolutely my therapist. It can give you holiday plans, all that sort of simple stuff. But I think the part where I'm missing, like I'm a pretty amateurish when it comes to AI, and the actual making my life easier part is the part that I'm missing at the moment. I'm using it like an enjoyable sort of helper, like a staff member, but I haven't got to the point where I feel like it's actually improving my life. Like I don't think I've delegated any tasks in my life. So I think I'm using it for advice and using it for help. But I think, like a lot of people, we're still doing all of our same tasks. So I'm looking forward to sort of learning that next step where I can actually delegate things to AI. Do you feel like you've got there in your life? Like, are you getting?
No, I think it's way too early still. But I see the point of the future where, a patient could have all our automated tests done. Autorefractor, high order aberrations, pupil size, topography, tomography. You could do the biometry, like axial data, OCT macula, OCT optic nerve. That all data can be done ahead of time before I even see the patient.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean,
But
there's no reason to have multiple machines, really, is there?
right, get all that data into one machine or one AI that says, okay, all analyzed, and it'll say, okay, look, small pupil, presence of pseudoexfoliation detected. It can say, oh, 24 millimeter axial length, but 2 millimeter shallow AC, probably going to have zonulopathy given the pseudoexfoliation and the poor dilation. And wow. So like,
That's so true.
we need to get to the point where it's doing that for us, making our life easier.
That's so true. And then the other flip side of it that I think will help for cataract surgery that actually Nick Andrew taught me about, which I think is so true, is when can we use it to psychoanalyze a patient? Because when I look back on, say, like the last, say, 1,000 multifocal lenses, and I think I've probably had to do, 1 or 2 exchanges. So it's a good rate. But when I look at those people, if I could weed out why was it that despite being able to read the newspaper without glasses and see the distance perfectly, they're not happy. Would there be something that I could look at in their social media presence, their internet footprint? Is there anything I could have analyzed and actually found out, right, that person is a psychopath? And we've often discussed, Nick and I, is there a set of questions where you could say to them, how would a minor inconvenience ruin your day? So say you're on the way to work and you spilled something on your pants. Well, how does your day go? And if they say, oh, it's ruined, absolutely ruined, my day is terrible, then right, you're not getting a trifocal lens. You're definitely not getting a trifocal. And I think that that's where AI will come into it also. We'll be able to look at someone's psychoanalysis and be able to tell what lens should this person have. That would be helpful, I think.
Well, that's a great idea. Because a mistake I've made sometimes, trying to fix psychiatric disease with pseudophakia.
Hey, as I've always said today, nobody should die faking. So you're doing great work, but I totally agree. That's so true. I think that, anyone that comes through my door, usually the solution is pseudophakia. I'm yet to meet a problem that a laser can't fix, but there definitely are psychiatric problems that they can't. So you're right.
You're trying to fix it. Like, I know you're crazy, and maybe analyze, you know what? Maybe we should do a social media biopsy on the patients beforehand. If their profile is full of all these crazy 1-star and nonsense reviews, like, do I want to even touch you?
Well, it's really true. I was helping out a couple of companies with their new biometers, and one suggestion I gave was, well, if you could have a feature where when the person sits down, this device, as well as taking their biometry, reviewed their social media, because we have really good analytics for whether we can tell if someone is neurotic. Probably that's the key term, I think, would be telling if someone's neurotic. If we could just put that into a biometer, because we have all these things now that, angle kappa is a little bit high. Like you were saying, pupil, wouldn't recommend this lens. We're really good at that. We could totally do that. But the icing on the cake would be if that same biometer could just very quickly scan their social media, maybe their footprint, and say, look, kind of like the Bell and Ambrosia curve, be like, look, on the curve, I think this person is about 9 out of 10 neuroses. And so no, not for a trifocal lens. I think it would actually be really simple to do. And I'm sure someone out there must be working on it right now, but it's a great idea.
I love the idea. I mean, there are even patients where they have amazing results after surgery, even with a monofocal lens. And for the level of crazy that they're not happy, it blows my mind.
If I would have to say, every single time I've taken out a multifocal lens, whether it's the Galaxy, a Panoptix, a Zeiss lens, whatever it is, they've always been able to see objectively very well. And it's sad. Like I cry every time because I'm like, you technically have a perfect outcome and I'm taking this lens out. I would be very rare to be taking a lens out because of a refractive error or something actually objective. It's always a subjective, no, I'm just unhappy. And with those people, I don't think many options are ever going to make them happy.
Right. Then they complain afterwards. Well, now, yeah, you fixed my nighttime glare and halos, but now I can't read without glasses. You're like, hello.
Oh, it's a shocker. I've got a patient at the moment who I did their cataract, and I would say improved their vision, put in a multifocal. They wanted them out. I gave them monovision. And they came and saw me the other day. And you know how hard it is to hit a target when you're doing an IOL exchange. It's not easy to get it perfect. I would say they had the most perfect refractive outcome in terms of distance, near. And they said, look, this is worse than the multifocal, and the multifocal is worse than the cataracts. And when you look back, their visual acuity unaided was, not even at the driving standard, but they're just unhappy. And you think, wow, you were always going to be a very difficult person to please. So, I think just as surgeons, I'm not very good at it, but that ability to be like water off a duck's back is probably one of the hardest things to learn, but probably the most valuable thing to sleep at night, and just accept that you can play the perfect game and still lose. I think that's a really hard lesson to learn, and I still haven't learned it.
Well, I have this idea of developing a line of IOLs where there's one IOL that's a little bit hazy. We call that 1+ NS. Another one is 2+, another one is 3+, another 4+. So now when a patient complains, say, you know what? I'm going to put the cataract back in. Let's go back. You saw the visual.
I love that idea. I will be your angel investor, because honestly, with the number of times I've threatened someone to put their cataract back in, right, and I haven't had anything to put in, it's an empty threat. But if I use the Devgan lens, I could do that. I love that. I love that.
You look at their notes like, oh, you were 2+ NS with 2+ cortical spokes. Oh, I got one of those right here for you. Put it right back in there. Enjoy.
Yeah, I'll custom make you one. Yeah.
Just the level of crazy. Yeah. But I think we need to figure out a way to find that neuroses, because it's just, otherwise, I think ophthalmology, we're so like mathematically inclined, especially in the refractive cataract space, that we kind of ignore some of the personality aspects.
We do. And the other thing is our own personality. I was saying about water off a duck's back. Like, I find it very difficult to cope with complications. I find it difficult to get over. And in ophthalmology, often we've got might have a list of like a dozen cataracts. Say you had a complication on case number 2. You're just expected to get back on that horse and ride it. And, there's no other real surgical specialty that would consider doing that. I think that if you were doing a heart transplant surgery and you had a terrible complication, you wouldn't do the next operation. So I think we have a really hard job where we're just expected to get on with things because of the volume of work we're expected to get through. And we're dealing with all these personalities, very fine margins of error. It's very difficult. I don't think we give enough training to our young surgeons about how to get over, how to cope mentally with what we're doing, because it's high stakes stuff.
So what are some pros you have for that? So we all, 100% of surgeons have complications. So you're doing a case, it doesn't go exactly as planned. How do you kind of regroup or refocus yourself for the next case?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, during that list, I think it really is just trying your very best to put it out of your mind. But I think the key thing is afterwards having a chat with people, like friends and colleagues. I'd phone someone and say, look, had a pretty rough day today. I don't think I did my best operation. And sometimes it's just nice to hear from someone else, maybe that's a bit more experienced than you or knows what they're doing, and can put the reality check and say, look, I'm sure you're doing your best job. And is the patient doing all right? Can they see? Yeah, everything's fine. You did a vitrectomy, you put a sulcus lens in, no harm done, everything's okay. I think it's just having people that can put things into perspective is the key. So I think just not isolating yourself, just making sure you've got some colleagues that you can have a talk to. I think it's the key.
Right. I mean, I try to be helpful as well. I put all my complications on CataractCoach. So you can look at CataractCoach, you can find a video of me dropping a nucleus.
Exactly. And it does help. It helps massively. Like if you see one of the most experienced and knowledgeable and great teachers and mentors out there messing up, you think to yourself, all right, okay, if he can do that, I'm allowed to slip occasionally too. That's all right.
But what's funny is, but you got to take into account the result of surgery is, half your technique and your technology and your skill and your hands. The other half is the patient tissues, their protoplasm, their anatomy, and their heating response. So in the case like I showed, I had a patient who was, of course, a nurse.
Of course.
I didn't realize, she never told me she had an intravitreal injection before.
Of course.
But intravitreal injection, of course, hit the lens capsule, and I just didn't see it in the pre-op or on the table. So I do a hydro dissection, and next thing you know,
gone. Yeah.
So it's like, well. But the good news is it all works out in the end. Like we said at the beginning of this podcast, in the end, it all works out. And if it's not working out, don't worry, it's not the end. She had the vitrectomy done, the pars plana lensectomy, and she was so happy after. She says, you know what the best thing is? She says, I have 0 floaters now. I was like, see? It all works out.
It's beautiful. And I think that's the other key learning point is having a good relationship with your patients. And that comes back to that initial contact in the clinic, having a bit of a laugh, having some true relationship with the patient, because then if you do have a problem, they're kind of accepting it because they know you, they like you. It's just much better for everyone. I remember I was doing probably one of my first Yamane scleral fixation technique lenses, and I had this old guy, and I actually put him to sleep. I gave him a general anesthetic because I wasn't used to threading the haptics into the needles. I just wanted everything still. I put him to sleep, and within probably 30 seconds of starting the operation, I injected the lens, and it went through the pupil into the back of the eye, and I lost it. And so, you know, we wheeled him back out to recovery because I can't do a vitrectomy. I don't have the equipment to do one. And the nurses are all like, wow, you're such a great surgeon. That was the fastest operation I've ever seen. And I was like, thank you. But, you know, when we woke that patient up, you know, I said to him, technically, you do have a new lens inside your eye. So, you know, technically, the operation has been a success. Now, it could need repositioning. And then, you know, we got into the details of it, and he understood. But I think it's nice to be able to chat with a patient and just actually, they see you as a friend. They see you as a person that's trying their best to help them, not being an arrogant surgeon. And I think it all stems back to just that attitude of not necessarily not taking things too seriously, because it is serious, but you know, just accepting that, you know, with life, you can have a little bit of fun as well.
That's so true. Wow, that's a great bit of advice. You got to enjoy your doing. And as you said earlier, then if you're enjoying it, it's not really work. You can actually, you know, you look forward to it every day.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoy this podcast. Can you imagine? We've been talking for an hour already.
I know.
I probably should get to bed.
I'll get to bed, and you should get up. But you're an early morning kind of person, Uday. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I like super early. I like to wake up most days about 4:30. Even on the weekends, maybe 5:30. But so because Los Angeles traffic is so crazy, I actually get to my surgery center at a little after 5 a.m. and we start the first case at 5:45 in the morning.
That's really impressive. I mean,
days by like 1 p.m. So I'm done for the day.
That's a great day. I love that.
Either direction when I drive.
Yeah, that's perfect. I like your style. You're living life well. It's impressive.
Well, you slowly morph into it, I guess. You know, we evolve over time into like what we actually want to do. And that's the other good thing with your careers, and as you've seen this now personally, you change gears every so often, you keep evolving it, and eventually I tell you, as you get a little bit more experience under your belt, you end up having just like the perfect situation, perfect practice.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm pleased to see how well you're doing. It's impressive.
Oh, and likewise. So again, we'll put all the links below. I certainly encourage you to check out Ben's Instagram, my favorite probably ophthalmologist Instagram. It is so funny and educational at the same time. There are also links up below for if you want your podcast with Nick, and then also your new skincare line. And I'm definitely looking forward to trying that out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been great.
Oh, my pleasure. I want to remind our listeners and viewers, remember, we got a new Cataract Coach podcast every single Sunday. We also have a new Retina Rounds podcast, new Cataract Coach video every single day. We're at video 2,600 something and counting, and we're still going to keep going every single day. So until next time, I'll catch you later.